The Adani Hindenburg saga, a complete guide to what's happened so far. Gautam Adani, who until recently was the richest Indian in the world, has now slipped to 22nd spot in the Forbes billionaire list in the wake of Hindenburg Research's report. In a little over a week since New York-based investor research firm Hindenburg Research accused industrialist Gautam Adani-led conglomerate of brazen stock manipulation and accounting fraud scheme over the course of decades, shares of Adani Group companies have nosedived. Adani, who until recently was the richest Indian in the world, has now slipped to 22nd spot in the Forbes real-time billionaire list for 2023. Although shares in Adani companies recovered after sharp falls earlier in the day, the 7 listed firms have still lost about half their market value, or more than $100 billion combined, since the US-based short seller last week questioned the group over its debt levels, Reuters reported. The listed Adani firms now have a combined market value of $108 billion versus $218 billion before Hindenburg's report. Adani Group, however, has rejected the criticism and denied wrongdoing. The Hindenburg report, how it all started. In late January, Hindenburg Research, which specializes in short selling, published a report critical of the group's finances. The research firm, which has short positions in Adani companies through US-traded bonds and non-Indian traded derivative instruments, said key listed companies in the group had substantial debt which has put the entire group on a precarious financial footing. The report was released just ahead of a 20,000 crore, $2.5 billion follow-on public offer, FPO, by Adani Group's flagship firm Adani Enterprises. Adani's response. In a 413-page response, the Adani Group said, "This is not merely an unwarranted attack on any specific company but a calculated attack on India, the independence, integrity and quality of Indian institutions, and the growth story and ambition of India. It is tremendously concerning that the statements of an entity sitting thousands of miles away, with no credibility or ethics has caused serious and unprecedented adverse impact on our investors," the Adani Group said. Hindenburg's rebuttal. Hindenburg, in its rebuttal, said the Adani response did not address any of the substantive points that the report raised. Rather, Adani has stoked a nationalist narrative that seeks to conflate the meteoric rise and the wealth of its chairman, Gautam Adani, with the success of India itself. The outcome. In the wake of the report, Adani's market losses have swelled over $100 billion. According to a report in Reuters, the listed Adani firms now have a combined market value of $108 billion versus $218 billion before Hindenburg's report. Earlier this week, the Adani Group announced that it had decided to call off the 20,000 crore FPO of Adani Enterprises Limited, AEL, and said that it would refund the money to the investors. S&P Dow Jones Indices on Thursday said it would remove Adani Enterprises Limited from widely used sustainability indices on February 7, making the shares less appealing to environment-conscious investors. RBI seeks details of bank's exposure to Adani Group. As the market continued to hammer its stocks, the Reserve Bank of India, RBI, has sought details from banks about their exposure to the group. Market regulator SEBI, however, has not announced any probe into the crash in Adani shares and the withdrawal of 20,000 crore FPO. While State Bank of India, SBI, is yet to officially disclose its exposure, sources said it could be over 21,000 crore. Punjab National Bank, PNB, said its total exposure to the Adani Group of 7,000 crore is backed by adequate cash flows and there is no worry on repayments at present. Bank of Baroda has an exposure of 4,000 crore. Other banks have not yet disclosed their exposure. Opposition demands JPC probe into Adani allegations. The Adani storm reached Parliament this week, with the opposition joining hands to demand a probe either by a joint parliamentary committee, JPC, headed by the Supreme Court or monitored by the Chief Justice of India, into the allegations of fraud and stock manipulation.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you found this video interesting. I will see you in the next video.